Register of Historic Places in 1980. Today, Union Station is more than just a transportation center. It is an experience for both visitors and commuters. It is home to the Tracks Restaurant, one of the city's most unique formal culinary experiences, and the Imperial Western Beer Company and Streamliner Bar, as well as a variety of casual eateries. Artwork from locally renowned artists can also be seen throughout the station. Take the Metro or the Dash and enjoy the sights, bites, and culture of this architectural marvel and Los Angeles landmark. I am Ken Pratt, Deputy Executive Officer with Metro, and I invite you to come and discover Union Station.
You may have noticed that at some intersections, the walk sign at the crosswalk starts a little earlier than the green light for people driving. This is called a leading pedestrian interval. It's a transportation term that means those of us using the sidewalk get a 3 to 7 second head start over cars. Giving pedestrians just a few seconds to fully enter the crosswalk makes it much more likely that drivers who are making turns will see them. This very simple timing change can have a big impact on street safety. Leading pedestrian intervals reduce crashes between people driving and people walking by as much as 60%. Moving LA forward.
I'm standing right here on 5th Street to celebrate in the heart of downtown the mark of the completion of the 5th and 6th Street Improvements Project. We repaved and restriped the streets to deliver better road conditions for everyone. So whether you're getting around by foot, by car, by bike, by bus, by transit, we want you to have a better experience. Getting us to have better transit is a key piece to a better quality of life. So we look forward to replicating this in your neighborhood. Congratulations to everybody. Enjoy the smooth streets, the protected bike lanes, the bus lanes that'll get you where you need quicker, and as always, stay safe.
Good news for California renters. Those who haven't been able to pay rent from March 1st through August 31st due to COVID-19 will not be evicted. This reprieve is thanks to a new bill signed by Governor Gavin Newsom. This bill also prevents evictions of those tenants through January 31st as long as they pay 25% of their rent throughout that time. This opportunity allows California residents a sigh of relief as the very real threat of homelessness still looms heavily due to the pandemic and the slow reopening of the state. El Grito is the holiday that marks the beginning of the Mexican War of Independence. And like most everything else, celebrating El Grito will be different for 2020. A pre-recording of the event took place on Alvarez Street with folk dancers and musicians as part of the El Grito Telethon. Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez was there conducting interviews. El Grito, known as El Grito de Dolores, began September 16, 1810, when Father Miguel Hidalgo called on the people of the parish in the Mexican town of Dolores to rise up against colonial rule. El Grito is celebrated on September 15th, the night before Mexican Independence Day. Starting October 30th through Election Day, November 3rd, residents will be able to cast their votes at the famed Staples Center in downtown LA. The arena will also serve as a drop-off point for anyone wishing to safely leave their ballots in a box. The designation of the Staples Center as an official polling site is part of the agreement between the Players Union and the League for the end of the boycott of the playoff games by the NBA players. The agreement requires the city of every NBA team to use their arena as a voting location. Check out Carpool Movie Nights at the Encino Farmers Market. It's an evening of family-friendly movies and nostalgic classics on the big screen that you can enjoy from the comfort and safety of your own car. Movies in September start at 8 p.m. Gates open at 7 p.m. Refreshments will be available. All proceeds support One Generation's programs and services, including their COVID relief efforts. Don't miss Carpool Movie Nights, happening at the Encino Farmers Market at 17400 Victory Boulevard. For ticket information, visit their listing on Eventbrite. Mark your calendars, Los Angeles. Dine LA is back this September 1st through the 18th. Head to their rooftop restaurant for incredible views alongside wood-fired dishes. Staying in? Get a taste of Italy at home. Whether you are dining indoors or ordering in, Eataly LA has got you covered with specialty Dine LA menus for over 2 weeks straight. Don't miss Dine LA Eataly Los Angeles. The event begins September 1st and runs through the 18th. Eataly Los Angeles is located at 10250 Santa Monica Boulevard. For more information, visit Eataly.com. Latina Empowerment Day 2020 is here. Join Hispanis Organized for Political Equality, HOPE, for a regional virtual event series. They'll address local COVID-19 economic and health updates, prepare for a secure financial future through retirement savings, and learn how leadership today can make an impact today by serving on California's boards and commissions. This session is free and open to all, but registration is required. Latina Empowerment Day will begin its regional online events beginning September 10th. For details, visit events-latinas.org. Join Best Friends Animal Society September 13th for a brand new COVID-19 style adoption event. Adopt a kitten from your car. Stay socially distant from the safety of your car while viewing their available kittens. Then complete the adoption process from one of their reserved parking spots. Take your kitten home the same day. They even have pre-packaged kitten start kits for purchase. Please sign up in advance. Walkthroughs are welcome. Masks required. The Best Friends Animal Society Kitten Drive-Thru Adoption Event happens September 13th. For more information, check out their listing on Eventbrite. And that's a look at some virtual things to do.
Lee.
Present.
Martinez.
Present.
O'Farrell.
Present.
Price.
Here.
Rodriguez.
Here.
Rue.
Present.
Wesson.
Here.
Koretz present.
Thank you. 14 members present and a quorum, Madam President.
Okay, first order of business.
Approval of the minutes from September 2nd, 2020.
Mr. Cedillo moves and Mr. O'Farrell seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Rue moves and Mr. Bonin seconds. Next.
Madam President, today is Tuesday and it's time for the flag salute.
Mr. Lee, can you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir?
Of course, Madam President. Would you all please rise and face the flag with the right hand over your heart? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lee. Madam Clerk, what's next?
Madam President, would council like all items to go forthwith today?
Without objection, that will be the order. Next.
Items 1 through 4 are items noticed for public hearing. Items 5 through 14 are items for which public hearings have been held. Items 15 through 35 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, without objection, those items are now before us. Members, do you wish to call any of these items special, or do you have an amending motion to be introduced? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Madam President, there has been a request to hold item 12.
Okay. There's no other items. Let's move on. Why don't we go ahead and move on to public comment?
Thank you. We are able to vote on items 5 through 11 and items 13 through 14
Items 5 through 11.
and 13 through 14.
Okay, let's go ahead and open the roll on those items.
Blumenfield.
Whitfield, aye.
Bonin.
Bonin, aye.
Buscaino.
Aye.
Cedillo.
Cedillo, aye.
Harris Dawson.
Yes.
Koretz.
Aye.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
O'Farrell.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Rue.
Aye.
Wesson.
Wesson, aye.
14 ayes. These items are adopted.
Okay, Mr. Koretz, do you have an amendment?
Madam Chair, I apologize, but I think I missed pulling 2 items. I had the sound off for a moment and didn't hear it. I wanted to pull items number 12 and 15 and call those special.
Okay, 12 was already was on the desk. We were holding that one on the desk, so 12. And your other item is 15?
15.
Or do you want to just speak on these 2 items, or do you have an amending motion to be introduced?
No, I just wanted to pull them for the moment.
All right, thank you. Let's go ahead, Madam Clerk, and move on to public comment. Why don't you go ahead and read our call-in number?
Thank you. As indicated on the agenda, members of the public wishing to offer public comment should call 669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 160-535-8466 and then press pound. Then press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press *9 to request to speak. Let me repeat, call 669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 160-535-8466 535-8466 and then press pound. Then press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press star 9 to request to speak.
Mr. City Attorney, why don't you go ahead and read our instructions?
Thank you. So, to members of the public calling in, when it's your turn to speak, please state which of the agenda items you'd like to speak on. You have 1 minute per item to speak, up to 3 minutes total, and if you wish, 1 minute for general public comment. Please speak on the items first before providing general public comment. We will tell you when your time's up. When speaking on the agenda items, you must be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can, and if you're not speaking on topic, or if we can't tell whether you're speaking on an agenda item, you will get one brief warning from me or the president. If you don't immediately get clearly on topic or against Ray off topic, the president will cut you off and you will forfeit the rest of your speaking time, and we'll move on to the next speaker. We're going to take 40 minutes of total public comment, and the items open for public comment are items 1 through 4 and 15 to 35. For members of the public calling in to speak, when you hear someone address you, you're live in the council meeting. If you're also listening to the meeting on your computer, channel 35, or other device, please turn down the volume on those devices immediately. There's a time delay between the live meeting and the broadcast, and it will cause confusion if you continue to listen on your devices. Now, to remind everybody, Zoom altered its configurations, and we're admitting people into the meeting one by one, so when you're in the waiting room, there'll be music, and I understand that you may be listening on another device then. As soon as you hear anyone address you, you are unmuted in the meeting, ready to talk to the council members. So please do turn down your devices immediately. Stop listening to them, or it's going to cause a lot of confusion. Again, this is something that Zoom has done, and we're dealing with it the best that we can. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Why don't we go ahead and take the first caller?
Okay.
Caller with the phone number ending in 771. Please state your name and what you would like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 7719. Please state your name and what you would like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 6981, please state your name and what you would like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 6981, please state your name and what item you would like to speak on. Caller? Caller with the phone number ending in 2121, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 2121, please state your name and what you would like to speak on.
Hello, this is John Stoker, 2095, at 1095, and only if there's questions on the waste management issue. I don't want to speak unless there's questions. I'm representing the CMFA.
Sir,
Speaker,
I can't hear what items you want to speak on. We didn't understand.
1095.
Speaker, we still can't understand you. Could you please clearly state which items you'd like to speak on?
20-1095, but only if there's questions. This is John Stoker representing the CMFA.
Okay, you have a minute.
You have a minute. Go ahead.
I only want to speak if there's questions.
Yes, you can go ahead and begin.
I don't think you understand. It's only if there are questions from the board that I need to speak.
No, this is your time to speak on any item that's on today's agenda that public comment has not been held. This is the Los Angeles City Council meeting.
Yep, I fully understand. I'm representing the CMFA. I'm the issuer of the bonds for this, so I don't need to speak unless the council has questions.
Okay, good. I think we can move on to the next speaker. Thank you.
Caller with the phone number ending in 5137, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on.
Yes, good morning. President Neri Martinez and Los Angeles City Council. My name is Jamie Penn. I'm a resident representative for the Wilshire Center Koreatown Neighborhood Council, Subdistrict 3. I'm also a proud member of DSA and a volunteer for Koreatown for All. I'd like to make a general public comment on behalf of my constituents.
Okay, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
All right. There's been a crisis that has been largely ignored. There have not been enough cooling centers and outreach, and the heat exposure this past weekend has been deadly. I personally did outreach, and I do want to thank Bob Blumenfield for his outreach efforts, and my council member, Herb Wesson, who took action with food and cooling center information. But it was rather disparaging to find out when I passed out cold water around Lafayette Park, which had been opened as a cooling center, to find out nobody immediately around that were my houseless neighbors were aware that it was actually open. There needs to be a better job all around. The bridge housing project there is completely stalled, and instead of opening additional cooling centers to save the lives of our unhoused neighbors, our public funded safety officials who are paid to be, I don't know, we do this service for free. Do you know what they do? They stand around and harass us while we do our outreach. They have other officers in a separate squad car bringing them takeout. I have those pictures posted on my Twitter. It's an incredibly inefficient
Right, thank you, Speaker. Next speaker.
Caller with the phone number ending in 1248, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 1248, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on.
Hi, this is Mimi. I'd like to give a general public comment, please.
You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Thanks. First, I'd like to talk about the LA Renter Subsidy Fund, which has allowed landlords to refuse the money. So the people who won this little lottery can't even benefit from it. You guys keep trying to do everything except cancel the rent or provide rent forgiveness, and it's not working. I don't see what the point of this is if landlords can just refuse it. I'd also like to talk about how you guys refuse to defund or even condemn the police. I don't know if you've been paying attention to what the LAPD and the LASD have been doing to people at protests, but they are shooting tear gas and rubber bullets and beanbags at close range. I don't care that these things are called less than lethal. Shooting at close range can maim and kill people, and you guys are just doing nothing about anything. You come to these little meetings, you vote on agenda items, a lot of times in closed sessions. You guys aren't doing anything, and the people are sick of this.
Thank you, caller.
Caller with the phone number ending in 1047, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 1047, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 1333, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 1333, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on.
No comment.
Okay. No comment. We can move to the next speaker.
Caller with the phone number ending in 9423, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 7000, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 7000, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on.
Yes, this is Chuck Krolikowski, and I'd like to speak on item number 2.
Great. You have a minute. Please begin.
Okay. I represent, I'm an attorney, and I represent 722 to 728 South Broadway, and we object to the street vacation request at Vermont and Vermont and 85th for various reasons. First, I'd like to object that 1 minute is not enough time to present my presentation. I believe it violates our due process. I'd like also to object that we tried to submit additional documents, and those documents have not been, they were difficult to upload because you limit that. But in any respect, we have an issue in the case is that we have evidence from a court indicating that Mark Ridley Thomas and Marquise Harris Dawson were working together to condemn this property for a project that no longer really is off the ground, that there's no evidence that the street should be vacated due to pedestrian and street non-usage and transit non-usage, and that this violates CEQA on the grounds that the city's own documents show that a categorical exemption is not necessary or
Thank
even
you,
allowed.
Speaker.
Caller with the phone number ending in 4208, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller.
Hello?
Yes, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on.
Yeah, this is Rob Kwan. I'd just like to let you know that there's a huge lag between when you actually ask for the caller to announce themselves and when they actually hear you. I wanted to speak on item 15 and general public comment.
Okay, so you have a minute for each, and thank you for letting us know. We'll give a little more time.
Go ahead.
Thank
Rob.
you. Item 15 relates to the buyouts, and I think we have to acknowledge Councilmember Rue's absence from the vote last week. You know, as I mentioned last week, there's disparate impacts on smaller departments like the Ethics Commission. We're already dealing with furloughs and hiring freezes. Councilmember Rue was on KCRW a few months ago complaining that he got tripped up taking developer contributions because the Ethics Commission hasn't helped him. Well, he hasn't helped them build that fucking database. So I think this council really needs to reevaluate itself, especially when we start talking about new offices. For my general public comment, I'd like to talk about redistricting. The LA County has a Citizens Redistricting Commission, and today is the last day for applications. And unfortunately, it appears as though Marquise Harris Dawson is the only council member on this city council that actually cares about promoting that, which is really interesting because Herb Wesson signed on to a letter by Kevin De Leon and Karen Bass saying that we need to do a whole lot better in doing outreach and driving attention towards the importance of serving on these kinds of commissions. Gil Cedillo signed on to something very similar. Please do some outreach. Today's the last day to apply. Lastly, when it comes to reform in this city council, when the council president took over last year, I laid it out. We can either work with you to come to good policy solutions, or we can shame you relentlessly till you do something better. And it doesn't seem like the former is working all that well. It's your choice. Yield my time. Fuck you.
Thanks, Rob. Next caller.
Hi, good morning. I'm calling for items 7 and 11. My name is Sergio Jimenez. While it's great the City Council is going to consider the Bureau's
Hold on,
service
caller.
recommendations today.
Caller, excuse me, those two items, public comment has already been held on 5 and 11. Do you wish to speak
I
on
don't want
any
5,
other?
I want 7 and 11. I've been waiting since 10
7?
in the morning.
Yes, 7 and 11, those items have already been voted on?
So we can we can give you general public comment for a minute, and you're free to talk about them
Okay.
then if you wish.
Okay, you want
Okay,
your
great.
1 minute? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do
Thanks.
a general comment. Thank you so much for clarifying. While it's great that the City Council is considering the BSS recommendations today, the report comes up short and confusing to many vendors, reimbursing close to 700 permits within the next month or so without identifying the reimbursement process, and then having vendors pay once again in 3 months. Sounds like a bad idea. We need to reimburse 700 permits without having to pay back the money. We know that vendors haven't worked since late March, and those that have worked are facing tickets, warnings, criminal citations, and confiscation of the product because they don't have a food permit in our cart, as it continues to occur in District 9. I know every single member of this council knows this is the main problem with vending today, and it is your responsibility as representatives of vendors in your cities to make sure that we don't sidestep from the main issue. While I support the extension of the cost of the permit until July 2021, it should instead be considered a free permit until May 2021, since less than 1% of vendors have successfully secured loans, grants, government relief since April. They deserve this. They have no money, they have dreams, they want to work legally, they're tired of seeing their meager investments being placed in trash bags and hauled off. They want those cards that can allow them to vend legally.
Thank you, caller.
Caller with the phone number ending in 9917, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 9917, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on.
Hello, I'd like to speak on item 21 and general public comment.
Sure, you have a minute each. Please go ahead.
With regard to item 21, Los Angeles is probably the wage theft capital of the United States, and so I support any measures that will protect garment workers from the wage theft that they experience, that includes them being able to support their families. I myself am a cook, so I understand the issue of wage theft because it also affects my industry very dearly. So I would encourage the City Council to support garment workers, support restaurant workers, and support all the workers in LA who experience wage theft and other forms of discrimination from their employers. With regard to general public comment, I would just like to point out that within the last week, there have been numerous grassroots orgs within the city of Los Angeles that have come together to basically do the job that you guys are not doing. In Mary Martinez's district, the district that she says she doesn't hear from, well, we don't see you. We were out there feeding the homeless. There's a group led by Polo's Pantry and Fish Pantry out in the valley, feeding the homeless instead of doing a heartless sweep, which you guys have approved and encouraged. Mary Martinez, that's your district. You weren't there. You didn't send any useless field officers there. You had no presence because you are a ghost in the city. You're a city council president who doesn't serve your district, let alone the city you're supposed to be council president of. The rest of the city council members have been told for months on end how to deal with heat waves, and yet you guys continually are flat on your asses, doing absolutely nothing, last minute useless cooling centers that aren't open long enough that people aren't able to access because are posted like a half hour before you guys even manage to open them. I don't understand how you guys go through a whole summer without learning any lessons.
Thank you, caller.
It's just complete uselessness
Thank
on your
you.
part.
Caller with the phone number ending in 4862, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on.
Can you turn off your device because we're getting feedback? Caller, can you turn off your device? Thank you. Caller, can you turn off your device? We're having a hard time hearing you.
Caller?
Caller with the phone number ending in 9395, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on.
Hello.
Hello, what items do you want to speak on?
Sí, quiero traducción, por favor.
Aquí está una traductora aquí. Que
Sí. Ok, sí quiero hablar
I
sobre
wanna talk about
el artículo 7 y sobre el 11.
Number 7 and 11.
Estos ya votamos en la 7 y en la 11. ¿Quisiera hablar de otra cosa?
Ajá, solo yo quiero felicitar a la concejal Nuri Martínez, ya que ella nos ha declarado la guerra a los vendedores, así lo sentimos, así lo vemos, ya que ella no está haciendo leyes a favor de nosotros los vendedores, nos está afectando mucho al quitarnos los 2 millones, al darle a las becas. Y ojalá esas becas llegarían hacia los vendedores ambulantes, porque nos hace mucho difícil que lleguen esos 2 millones para los vendedores ambulantes, ya que en esta pandemia sí es muy necesario para los vendedores ambulantes. Gracias, muy amable.
Madam Chair, might I point out that the voice of the person testifying in Spanish was loud and the voice of the translator was very quiet, so it's not very practical for us to try and hear the testimony that way.
Okay, we'll try to do better, Mr. Koretz. Thank you.
Caller with the phone number ending in 1108, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on.
Caller, can you please turn down the volume of the device you're listening to the meeting? We can barely hear
Yep.
you.
Hi, it's Daniel Gus. I'd like to speak on items 15, 29, 35, and general. How much total time?
Did you have 3 minutes for your items and 1 minute for general public comment? Go ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you. Council members, item number 15, it's a great idea, but it just stinks just like the DROP program, where, for example, somebody like the LAPD Chief Moore, quote unquote, retired, got $1 million payout, and how do you like it? A few months later, he's back making $400,000 a year. You need to have some sort of thing in number 15 that says, if you accept these SIP dollars, that you forever lose the right to come back to the city's employment. Otherwise, you're just giving people a bundle of money to go away for 6 months or a year and come back. There should be something that makes it absolute. You take the SIP dollars, you are never eligible for city employment again. You will be doing the taxpayers a favor. It is especially important that Mr. Wesson recuse himself from this because his family stands to make money from item number 15. And also for any politician with any relative who is termed out, like Mr. Koretz, their family members should be ineligible for this because when Herb Wesson leaves, his time is either expired or he goes on to the county supervisors. His family's going with him. So you have to make sure that termed out politicians' families are not eligible for those dollars. Item number 29. You know, we've had this problem going on for several years now, and I hope Mr. Koretz in particular is paying attention because you never enforce this. The city shut down a high caliber street rescue called Barkin' Bitches. You seized their animals for months. No criminal charge was ever filed, and all you did was close down a good place for people to adopt homeless animals. You spent a lot of money caring for those animals, returning them to the owner of Barkin' Bitches in hideous condition, and yet in CD2 you have a business that's violating the rules for storefront kennels all the time. So you're coming up with these definitions and you're never practically applying them, and it's really tragic. You're hurting animals, you're hurting people, and your policies aren't having the desired effect. Item number 35, council members. We are in bad fiscal times, especially for the city. These numbers work out to $456,000 a unit. You shouldn't be building things that are costing whoever $456,000. You are making these things like long-term, lifelong condos that people will never leave. You need to make them functional, but such that people aren't going to live in them for the rest of their lives. That's not the business of government. Maybe this government, but you should make it housing that people can be in for a few years and not what seems to be rather nice condo units at almost $500,000 per. On to my general public comment. Ms. Martinez's district on Sunday night had more than 1,000 people on Van Nuys Boulevard for a car show, the vast majority of whom were not wearing face masks, who weren't socially distancing. It was 1,000 people, and if there's ever a spike, I'm telling you, it's going to be traced back to this car show. It was 1,000 people out there on the street, no masks. And I know Ms. Martinez had her own face masks made with her name on them, but where was the city telling people to put on a mask? Here's a mask if you don't have one. And the LAPD won't even show if there's a permit for this event or not. And a lot of this also veered towards Mr. Rue's district. If there is a spike, I'm telling you, it's going to come back to the Labor Day weekend car show on Van Nuys Boulevard. There was just enormous chance for COVID-19 to pass. You guys have a good meeting. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Caller with the phone number ending in 5318, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 5318, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on.
Yeah, my name is Gina, and I want to give general public comment, please.
You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Thanks. So the LA Renter Subsidy Fund that you guys established lets landlords refuse the money last minute. So even the modicum of protection you tried to give the city isn't working at all. The landlords can refuse to participate, and folks are getting evicted as we speak. I don't understand what you're even doing as a council. Until your agenda looks like this is what item 1 should be: housing folks living on the street today. Item 2 should be defunding the LAPD to pay for things. Item 3, cancel the Olympics. Item 4, cancel rent and mortgages, forgive them. I don't even understand, honestly, in the middle of a pandemic, you've done nothing. In the middle of a people's uprising, you've done nothing. You've expanded the LAPD when we're clamoring for you to defund them. Orgs are out in the street literally every single day doing your job. Let me tell you who the...
Caller with the phone number ending in 1148, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 1148, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on.
General public comment.
You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Welcome back, Los Angeles City Council from vacation. Just 3 days that you weren't able to steal from the people of the city of Los Angeles. Ms. Martinez, apologize to Ms. Autry. Apologize. The people of the city of Los Angeles are hurting. You people are doing nothing but stealing, being self-serving. We have emergencies of graphic proportion, and you people are doing nothing. What's the difference between you and Donald Trump? You're supposed to be all Democrats. You've turned the city into a homeless encampment. Do something about it. You're just a bunch of self-serving thieves and looters under Herb Wesson. Martinez, you're just a rubber stamp. Wesson is a career criminal.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker.
Caller with the phone number ending in 0899, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 0899, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, what items
Can
do
you
you
hear
want to
me?
speak on? Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I am calling. Hi, I'm making a public comment, a general public comment. My name is Stacy Dodson Stern.
Go ahead.
I want to remind this body, can you hear me? I want
Yes.
to remind this body that you were elected to serve your constituents by responding to their needs and concerns and by representing their views in this chamber. You treat us like enemies. Today's agenda is noteworthy as it does not address a single immediate concern of the people as Gino just lifted up. This city council has defined itself as nothing more than a let-them-eat-cake body. Thanks, Bonin, you tried last week, but you couldn't find the humanity in the rest of the council. Ryu, you had a doctor's appointment. Are you fucking kidding me? Fuck you. Okay, your renter subsidy program is another one of your virtue veils. All week we've been learning about people who got lucky, and then, oh, whoops, my landlord said no. Doesn't work. You guys cannot screen yourselves behind bullshit things that don't work. You're a cabinet of landlords and developer dick suckers, and I know you hate to be offended by language, but I'm offended by state-sanctioned violence and a government that is corrupt. That's what's obscene here, not me. You're not allowing enough public comment. That's why people keep calling in.
Thank you, caller.
Caller with the phone number ending in 3550, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on.
Hola, buenos días.
Buenos días. ¿Qué tema quiere hablar hoy?
¿El 7?
Ya votamos en ese tema. ¿Alguna otra cosa?
Ok, del 11 y el 7 quería hablar.
El 11 y el 7 ya votamos en esas dos áreas. ¿Quería hablar de otra cosa?
Sí.
Ok, puede comenzar.
Ok, solo quería dejar un comentario. Mi nombre es Pedro Varías y soy vendedor ambulante en el área del Valle. Quería mandar un mensaje directamente a Nuri Martínez, que es la representante del Valle. Nosotros como vendedores ambulantes últimamente no estamos vendiendo. Yo vendo lo que es comida en las calles, pero todos los vendedores ambulantes estamos siendo hostigados por el DSS y el DPH. Estamos siendo multados, estamos siendo criminalizados.
We've been criminalized.
Y no hay ayuda para nosotros.
Nobody's
los
helping
vendedores.
us, the vendors, the street vendors.
Entonces queremos de que haya un apoyo de
We would
parte
like to have some
de
support.
los concejales, de parte de la ciudad para todos los
The
vendedores ambulantes,
council members can help all the vendors,
especialmente para los vendedores de comida, que haya
especially
ayuda para
those
los
who are selling
carritos,
food.
y en lugar de que haya multas, que haya
Instead of
warnings,
fines.
hostigamientos de parte
Ok,
del
señor.
DSS y el DPH.
Señor, gracias por llamar. Ya se le acabó el tiempo. Gracias.
Caller with the phone number ending in 4024, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 4024, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 6670, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 6670, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on.
Yes, hi. This is James Santa Maria. I'm speaking on item number 3 for clarification.
Sure, you have a minute. Please begin.
Sure, you have a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, Madam President, if you could kindly request the city clerk to confirm the issuing authority. Currently, it's CSCDA on the agenda. However, the motion should state the California Municipal Finance Authority, CMFA. It's in the motion as well as, I believe, the title. So just wanted to make sure that that was correct for the purposes of the public hearing.
This is your time to speak, caller.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, please continue your comments if you wish to.
No, I just want to make sure that there's a clarification error on the agenda stating the wrong issuer for item number 3. It states the California Statewide Development Authority, CSCDA, when it should state the California Municipal Finance Authority, CMFA. CMFA is listed on the motion as the correct issuer. I just want to make sure that the clerk was able to catch that as an error.
Thank you, caller.
Caller with the phone number ending in 7350, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 7350.
Can you please turn off your device? We're getting a lot of feedback. We can't hear you.
I want to make sure that the clerk was able to catch that.
Caller, can you please turn down your device? What items do you want to speak on?
Caller with the phone number ending in 7350, please state your
Can
name.
you please turn off your device? We're getting feedback. What items would you want to speak on?
Caller with the phone number ending in...
Okay, let's move on to the next caller.
Yeah.
Caller with the phone number ending in 1447, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 1447, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on.
Can you please turn off your device? We can't hear you. Caller, can you please turn off your device? Caller, are you there?
1447, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on.
I think we should move to the next speaker. Yeah.
Caller with the phone number ending in 7719, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on. Caller with the phone number ending in 7719, please state your name and what item you'd like to speak on.
It's Eric Previn. I'd like to speak on all available items and a general public comment.
Okay, you have 3 minutes, Mr. Previn, and 1 minute for your general public comment. Go ahead.
Okay, so we could start with item 3, which is an exciting TEFRA hearing, and how helpful for the caller to get the correct issuing authority rather than, it was labeled one way on the agenda and another way in the motion. They need to be consistent for it to be a fair public hearing. And it raises questions, what is a fair public hearing? Here we have Waste Management, a group that is involved with disposal in the area. Also, we are reminded, of course, Council President Martinez, of your Sun Valley Paper Company, who provide large community benefits to your district, much larger one year than the other because they're so enthusiastic about the ongoing work recycling out there.
But they're also recycling executives like Greg Smith, who came in through Herb Wesson's back door in the basement one morning in December, and then was suddenly the council member as Englander stepped off for preposterous reasons, it seemed to the rest of the world. And everybody now knows it was because he was under great pressure as a FBI now indictee, causing the public great concern. Yes, sir.
I'm confused which item you're speaking to.
Well, I was speaking about item number 3, the fair public hearing on the TEFRA hearing for the waste management. But let's move off of that one and move on to the other items that are on the agenda, because I agree that there are some vacations of city property that need proper addressing as well. Here you have one of the great devices where the city is able to let go of often needless and unnecessary, they say, pieces of property to their friends and contributors. Obviously, we caught Weezer engaging through the hands of Mitch O'Farrell in a committee meeting one afternoon where they were twisting really hard to get a guy to contribute to Rochelle's campaign. This was like days after the fundraising window had opened. So,
again,
horror
Mr.
show.
Previn, would you please
So
stay
in
on the
vacations
items?
of CD8, there's one on the agenda today which you can scan and look at. It's a nice little vacation. Marquise Harris Dawson involved, obviously, as a council member. You'd think that council members would take a front seat, but on the one in CD2, on just about 700 feet west of Witsit toward Coldwater, you had a vacation of city property that had been facilitated by Caro Tarosian, who at the time was running for office in CD7. This is one of the scams that I wanted to bring some attention to. This is where the chief of staff, like Joan Pellico or Caro Tarosian, runs for a neighboring district. They don't necessarily win.
Get back on topic, or I'm going to ask you to move on to general public comment.
I'm going to go to my general right now.
All right, let's go ahead. Give Ms. General public comment.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, yeah, they're able to skim off these highly placed city staffers donations from the same crowd who operate across districts, as we all know. We don't have to say all their names out loud right now because we're busy. But we do know that this is how it works. And I would like to shine a particular light on that project on Ventura Boulevard, just to the west of Witsit, because the guy who gave him money is for his CD7 campaign against Lady Monica Rodriguez, is a guy who shouldn't be doing that while getting favors in CD2, while Caro Tarosian is telling the public that he has no knowledge of anything going on there. And now we're all going to know, oh, something big is going on there. What the hell is going on here? Because it's right around the corner from the Harvard Westlake project that is causing different kind of consternation because they're taking over a major public amenity in a lovely area that has a whole defined culture, and then they're putting in its place a private enterprise with walls. So this is a red flag beyond belief.
Thank you, Mr. Previn. Okay, members, that concludes public comment for today's meeting. Let's go ahead and vote on the following items. Madam Clerk, let's go ahead and prepare to vote on items 1 through 4 and items 16 through 35. Let's go ahead. Hold on for just a second, Mr. Price.
I want to recuse myself from item number 2, please.
Okay, there's been a request from Mr. Price to recuse himself on item number 2. Please take him off the board.
Thank you. Would you like to vote on item number 2?
Let's go ahead and vote on, so Mr. Price can vote on the following items. Let's go ahead and vote on items 1, 3, and 4, and items 16 through 35. Go ahead and call the roll.
Thank you. And prior to calling the roll, I'd like to just read technical correction into the record for item number 3. It should be the California Municipal Finance Authority. And for item number 16B, the APN number should be 5109-009-022.
Okay.
Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Bonin.
Bonin, aye.
Buscaino.
Aye.
Cedillo.
Cedillo, aye.
Harris Dawson.
Yes.
Koretz.
Aye.
Krikorian. Krikorian. Lee.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
O'Farrell.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Rue. Rue. Wes. Rue. Wesson.
Wesson, aye.
12 ayes, these items are adopted.
Okay, let's go ahead and vote on item number 2. Mr. Price has recused himself, so please take him off the board. Let's prepare to vote on item number 2. Please call the roll.
Thank you. Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Bonin.
Bonin, aye.
Buscaino.
Aye.
Cedillo.
Cedillo, aye.
Harris Dawson.
Yes.
Koretz.
Aye.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
O'Farrell.
Aye.
Price recused. Rodriguez.
Aye.
Rue. Rue. Wesson.
Aye.
12 ayes, this item is adopted.
Okay, let's move on to item number 12. This item was called special by Mr. Koretz.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to ask if we could continue this item to tomorrow.
Second.
Okay, without objection, that will
Madam
be the
President.
order on item number 12, continued into tomorrow.
Thank you. That'll be continued to Wednesday, September 9.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Koretz. Item 15, you call special as well?
Yes, item 15, I would just like to recuse myself because my wife is part of those eligible for the pool being considered.
Okay, there's been a request from Mr. Koretz to recuse himself on item 15. Please remove him off the board.
Thank you. Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Bonin.
Bonin, aye.
Buscaino.
Aye.
Cedillo.
Aye.
Harris Dawson.
Yes.
Koretz is recused. Krikorian.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
O'Farrell.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Rue.
Aye.
Wesson.
Aye.
Wesson.
Aye.
13 ayes, this item is adopted.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Rue?
I'm in the building and I was having internet connections. I don't know if I could vote on the previous items, if I could be recorded as an aye.
Hold on for just a second. So you didn't vote on any of the items?
I don't know if you heard me, I'm not sure. The squawk box was on when I was trying to vote on the
Okay,
items.
let's go ahead and record. Hold on,
outage.
Mr. Rue.
So if we want to reconsider the items, we can revote on them with Mr. Rue.
First, we have to reconsider all items so that Mr. Rue can go ahead and vote. So let's take a vote on reconsideration of all items. Let's go ahead and open the roll.
And for clarification, Councilmember Rue did vote on the earlier items for today, so it would be a reconsideration of items 1 through 4 and 16, 1 through 4, 15 through 35. Item 12 has been continued.
Right, 15.
Excuse me. Clarification, it will be on items 1 through 4 and 16 through 35.
Okay, we're only voting on reconsideration right now, so go ahead and open the roll.
Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Bonin.
Bonin, aye.
Buscaino.
Aye.
Cedillo.
Cedillo, aye.
Harris Dawson.
Yes.
Koretz.
Aye.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
O'Farrell.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Rue.
Aye.
Wesson.
Wesson, aye.
14 ayes. These items are all reconsidered.
Okay, members, the following items are now before us for a vote. We're going to vote on items 1, 3, and 4, and items 16 through 35, and we'll vote on item number 2 separately because Mr. Price is going to recuse himself. So go ahead and open the roll.
Thank you. Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Bonin.
Bonin, aye.
Buscaino.
Aye.
Cedillo.
Cedillo, aye.
Harris Dawson.
Yes.
Koretz.
Aye.
Krikorian. Krikorian.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
O'Farrell.
Aye.
Price.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Rue.
Aye.
Wesson.
Aye.
14 ayes. These items are adopted.
Okay, let's move on to item number 2. Please remove Mr. Price off the board. Let's go ahead and call the roll.
Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Bonin.
Bonin, aye.
Buscaino.
Aye.
Cedillo.
Aye.
Harris Dawson.
Yes.
Koretz.
Yes.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Martinez.
Aye.
O'Farrell.
Aye.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Rue.
Aye.
Wesson.
Aye.
13 ayes. This item is adopted.
All right, thank you. Madam Clerk, what's before us? Do you have any verbal motions?
The clerk does not have any verbal motions to read into the record today.
Members, do any of you have any verbal motions this morning? Mr. Koretz?
Yes, but first, I'm not sure that I heard a vote on item 15, which I think was set aside so I could recuse myself. But to allow Mr. Rue to vote.
No,
so you might...
Mr. Rue had already voted on item 15,
I'm
so
sorry.
we're good on
Okay.
that one, Mr. Koretz. And
So I do have
you had
one
recused
verbal
yourself,
motion.
so you're good. You want to go ahead and, how many verbal motions do you have this morning?
I have one verbal motion, and it reads, I therefore move the Department of Transportation and any other appropriate city departments report back to the City Council on the practicality of blocking, cul-de-sacing, West 4th Street on the east side of La Cienega Boulevard.
Second.
Second.
Thank you.
Second by Mr. Lee. All right, thank you, Mr. Koretz. Mr. Buscaino?
I think I have a resolution on a retirement for Jane Templin, who is the Outreach Director for Electrical Training Institute, the largest apprenticeship program for electricians in the U.S., also Vice President of IBEW Local 11. So with that, let therefore be resolved that by the adoption of this resolution, the LA City Council does hereby congratulate and thank Jane Templin for her 44 years of service with IBEW Local 11. Best wishes are extended for a long, happy, and much-deserved retirement. Thank you, Madam President.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Rodriguez. Mr. Buscaino, any others?
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other verbal motions, members? If not, I'm going to move on to announcements. Any announcements? Any adjourning motions?
And Madam President, if I may, council does have motions for posting and referral.
Posted and referred. Are there any adjourning motions, members? Good morning, Mr. Rue. Mr. Rue has joined us in council chambers for his adjourning motion.
Thank you, Madam President.
Hold on for just a second. Your mic's not on. Can we get Mr. Rue's mic on? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you for accommodating me today in chambers and allowing me to make this special adjournment. And you know, we all know that birth and death is a simple fact of life, and we are told that it gets easier with time. And I know many of our members could relate because many have lost parents and loved ones in the past few years. But for me, it was first Mr. Taewon Kwan, then my father, then Mrs. Chongja Kwan. And I don't know about you, but I'm still waiting for it to become easier. On August 21st, we lost a beloved local leader and philanthropist, Ms. Lori Hong. Lori Young-ok Hong was born in Hamgyong, South Korea, and graduated from Hanguk Samyuk High School in Seoul. She was passionate about helping others and had a natural talent for comforting those who are sick or suffering. So, to no one's surprise, she attended nursing school and first became a registered nurse, working at Seoul National University Hospital and later as registered nurse at Holt Orphanage in Seoul, before immigrating to the United States in 1964. She first arrived to Washington State and in 1981 married Mike Myung-gi Hong in Seattle. And together they moved to Riverside. They were committed to working hard and quickly became successful entrepreneurs. In 1986, at her urging, they launched Duracoat, an environmentally friendly paint company. Knowing their roots and having lived experience of hardship, Lori and her husband strongly believed in giving back, and especially to empower immigrant and low-income communities. In 2000, they established the Bright World Foundation, and in 2019, they started M&L Hong Foundation. Through their foundations, they donated millions of dollars over the years that went on to support endeavors like scholarship funds, youth education programs, cultural initiatives, and much more. Lori is survived by her husband, Dr. Myung-gi Hong, her children, Cindy, Michelle, Christine, and David, and her grandchildren, Tristan and Hanur. I just want folks to know how much Mrs. Hong and Dr. Hong meant to me, because even for the woman I was going to marry, even before I introduced her to my parents, I introduced her to Mrs. Hong and Dr. Hong. You know, more than being my mentors and guardians, they were like my parents. And throughout my entire adult life, they were always there supporting me and guiding me. I was a participant of every single leadership program that they ever created or supported. I received every scholarship that they gave, and I was one of thousands of adopted children who benefited from their generosity. And I like to note that while Dr. Hong is known as being very philanthropic, it was truly Mrs. Hong who, just like 40 years ago, urged Dr. Hong on, and she was the heart of the operation and the true guiding light. And for those of us who know them well, knows that it was always been Mrs. Hong. But more than their love and generosity towards me, I really truly looked to them as a role model and a guiding hand. You know, and they were a relationship that I could only hope to have in the future. Because they were the definition of love, and the love that Dr. Hong had for Mrs. Hong was legendary. Their faith in God was inspiring, and it was so cute, and it would melt your heart to see Dr. Hong and Mrs. Hong in their age of 70 and 80 acting like high school kids and holding hands and showing their love and affection for each other. So, I'm just very concerned for Dr. Hong, and may Mrs. Hong rest in peace. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Wu. Our condolences to you and the family. Mr. Harris Dawson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, I'm asking today that we adjourn in the memory of two people that I never had occasion to meet and did not know, but I know and I understand and feel for their spirit. A few weeks ago on August 25th, two men who decided to protest in Kenosha, Wisconsin, were killed with an automatic rifle by a gunman opposing those protests against the killing. They were protesting the killing of Jacob Blake, who was shot several times in his back in front of his children. Two men, Anthony Huber, age 26, Joseph Rosenbaum, age 36, both of Kenosha, Wisconsin. Both, while it should not matter, but should be noted, white males. Joseph Rosenbaum, a father of two young children, who took the step and took their responsibility as Americans to take to the streets and to say something when they saw something was wrong. And in the environment that we're in today, someone took it upon themselves who disagreed with them to take their lives. One of them shot 3 times, another one shot 5 times. Fortunately, other protesters were able to take down the gunman and deliver him to police officers. I bring this to our council and make a note of it because we hold the right and responsibility to protest in this country as sacred. This is one of the things that we make a big deal about it. And so did not want the situation to pass where while two men are exercising that right, they are killed in cold blood. And so we send our condolences to the Huber and to the Rosenbaum family, to their fiance and their children, their parents and immediate families. May they both rest in peace and rest in power.
Thank you, Mr. Harris Dawson. Any other adjourning motions? Okay, I have one, members. So, colleagues, I'd like to adjourn in the memory of Mr. James Callis, known as in the community of Arleta as Jim. Mr. Callis passed away on Tuesday, August 11th. He was born on November 23rd, 1932, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to Ethel and Emmanuel Callis. He lived in Pennsylvania until he joined the United States Navy as a young sailor. Mr. Callis was a true Navy man. He loved serving his country and traveling around the world with the Navy. He met his wife Peggy during his time in Japan, fell in love, got married, and he continued to serve his country. Mr. Callis served the United States Navy for 30 years, where he served in both the Vietnam conflict and the Korean War. He was a leader and held various positions during his tenure. He retired from the Navy in 1979 with honors and settled in Arleta with his family. Mr. Callis believed in family and enjoying living life to its fullest. In his younger years, he enjoyed playing golf, coaching softball, and he even played minor league baseball for a short time. Additionally, he developed a love for gardening and grew many plants in his backyard. He loved spending time with his family and his grandchildren, who always brought him so much joy. Jim was always believed in doing the right thing and standing up for what was right. He believed in making the world around him a better place. He sought ways in which he could give back to the residents of Arleta, the community at large, and his country. Jim served as president of the Arleta Neighborhood Council and participated in several neighborhood watch groups. He really enjoyed serving in the community of Arleta and his fellow neighbors. He was instrumental in helping the community obtain and plant trees, making it a greener neighborhood. He also helped Arleta high school students and staff bring the community together through their annual National Night Out event. Jim was successful in engaging community members and always kept children in his mind. He loved being able to help them receive school supplies and quality backpacks for their new school year. Mr. Callis was a man who believed in community, neighborhood, and people. He wasn't a man who wanted a lot of recognition or awards for his contributions. He simply felt it was his duty to do his part to help and leave things a little better than he found them. He was a true fighter and battled cancer for approximately 8 years. His hope was that his contributions really helped the community thrive, and somehow, some way, he was able to help people along the way. Mr. Callis is survived by his wife Peggy, his son James Callis Jr., his daughter Deborah Callis, daughter Marina Callis Penrose, son-in-law Eric Hickerson, and grandsons Ryan, Alex Penrose, and Jack Connor. May he rest in peace. Thank you, members. Our meeting is adjourned.